we finally got the right title. Ooh, are we ready enough? I don't think we're meant to be ready enough. No. Hello everyone, welcome to, I think this is the second stream of ERL altogether as commentator. Seems like everyone's readying up now, but we are at Britain. Hi Sam, you weirdo. I don't know Oshin, I'm guessing you can now. Hi Philip as well, and hi Fishy. Welcome everyone to the stream. And we're going to get going into qualifying. Now interestingly, this is only my second time commentating on actual Formula 1 cars. Of course I commentated at Jeddah in my league. And then this time as well. The rest has been multiplayer cars or Formula 2, so I get a few teams mixed up, which I shouldn't. I should know better, to be honest, but you know, if that happens, then just bear with. I will check chat. No, I didn't. Hi, Aiden. Philip, please don't turn into Sam. No, I didn't. I didn't commentate F1 in pre-season of Formula V. I was doing Formula V pre-season in F1 cars. But anyway, we're in qualifying now. It's dry. We've already got a few drivers switching to the mediums. That includes Aiden, JDM and Rally. The rest have all stayed on the softs at the moment. Sam has now changed to mediums, and Mathers. And the first one out on track looks to be JDM, I think. Or is it Fishy? It's Fishy. Oh, Fishy and JDM, the two McLarens very close together, coming out the pit lane. We also got, I'm going to say Chaz, out first on track. He's still in the pit limiter, but he's fine now. Yeah, the two McLarens behind. Whoa, that was very close. It could have been an incident. We've got Lepodom as well. No, it's not. It's Rally. Rally's out on track as well. Of course, he missed last week, but he's a regular podium contender in this league. So we'll be looking to obviously search for one again. We've also got Aiden out on track. Also a podium, regular podium seer in this league. He finished second at Belgium last week. So we'll be looking to also do the same. We've got Sam as well, scoring consistent points in this league as well. He's definitely done very well this season. And as a friend of his, I'm very proud of him. I've seen him grow and mature as a racer. So, yeah. Good luck to Sam as well in this race. We have got Chaz as well. Yeah, Chaz. Oshin, who is usually in the Red Bull, he's in AlphaTauri today, as we don't have any AlphaTauri drivers, so Chaz and Oshin are just reserve drivers. But anyway, we're gonna go to JDM. No, Fishy. We're gonna go to actually, and because he's gonna be the first one starting a lap, we will stay on board with him for this flying lap. As he goes into turn 1, doesn't want to take too much of the curb, otherwise you'll get invalid, and that second curb as well, otherwise you'll spin. A bit over that red sausage curb, which you don't want to do too much, otherwise it could lead to a spin. But a nice exit now. He needs this momentum to go down the straight. He opens DRS, goes down the straight then, and his first sector time is a 27.6. Now he goes into Woodcut, but he goes very wide and invalidates his lap. So the next one will be JDM if he's not invalidated, which he hasn't. So we'll continue on with him as he now goes on the run to the Cops, down the national pit straight. Through Cops he goes very wide on the exit, but he's not invalidated somehow. So he continues on with his laps. Now through Maggots and Beckett, missing the apex a little bit there, and on that corner as well, the last bit of Maggots and Beckett's. Doesn't seem to want to turn right today, that car. But now down the straight he goes into Luffield. I think I'm getting these corner names right. I'm not entirely sure, so correct me if I'm wrong, please. I don't want to embarrass myself. So now into Club Corner he goes, and round the final corner, and sets a 128.4 on those medium tyres. Now it's Rally, and he goes a 127.9. Provisional pole at the moment. Sam, he goes P4 as Chaz replaces him on the softs in 129.3. Sam with a 129.7. Now it's the other AlphaTauri of Oshin. He hasn't invalidated. Round the final corner he goes across the line, and he goes a 127.3 to set the fastest time of this session. The next one is going to be Aiden, but he's invalidated on his lap. So now it will be FNCO Tom, who's about a lap away, half a lap away I mean, from setting his first lap time. But Lipodom's crashed at Cops, so Lipodom won't be able to set a lap in qualifying. As we go now down into Luffield, taking the corner nicely there in 5th gear, not using too much exit, which you obviously don't want to do. Now into Club Corner he goes, rounds the final corner, and can he set the pace? He goes a 143.6, and I didn't even realise that he was going that slow. But anyway, Fishy's coming out of the pits. I don't know if JDM's gone on another lap, which he seems to have, and he's improving. So he goes into the Club Corner for the final time. He goes a little bit wide, which could scrub off some speed around the final corner, and he improves by 0.2. Stays P3 though, as Rally also improved by 1/10. Now Sam, who's improved by 0.3. So they're all finding improvements the more laps that they go on. Oh, and Sam's binned it. Sam's in the wall nearly. He's managed to keep it out of it though. So a very lucky escape from Sam, to be able to keep it out of the wall. But there's Chaz coming through. Sam's going to rejoin safely, which is very respectful of him and thoughtful. Of course, we don't get many drivers that do that. But Tom now, he will be the next one to cross the line. And he is 15 seconds up, so I'm guessing he is on a flying lap. And he's got the DRS open this time, as he goes round that corner again in 5th gear. Not using too much exit again. So very nice from FNCO Tom. As he rounds Club Corner, around the final corner he goes, across the line, and he goes P3, a 10th ahead of JDM. Well, less than a 10th ahead of JDM actually, and goes P3. He's already invalidated on his next lap time though. So, yeah, he won't be able to go again. Fishy's also starting a lap now. He was on an out lap that was invalidated, but of course that doesn't matter too much. Chaz has also invalidated his flying lap, when he was 0.4 off. JDM isn't on another lap. I think that Sam has gone again. I can't see because of chat. No, he hasn't. He goes into the pit lane with JDM. So yeah, looks like we'll be watching Fishy for this whole lap, which we didn't get to do on his first flying lap, of course. He said it's the fastest first sector. Uses a lot of curb, actually. I'm surprised that's not an invalidation on his lap time. But now he goes on the run to Cops down the national pit straight. And let's look on board with him, how he takes Cops. He takes it flat out, actually. Which is very good from Fishy. Now through Maggots and Beckett's he goes, taking it nicely there. From the cars that we've seen, they've been missing the apexes on the right-handers of Maggots and Beckett's, but Fishy is measuring those very precisely and using the right amount as he now goes into Luffield. A bit away from the apex of that corner, but it shouldn't matter too much. You gain a little bit of time on the exit if you go a bit wide. Now through Club Corner. Still an amazing lap time from Fishy, so let's see if it can translate. He goes a 1:26.9 and he's on provisional pole for Silverstone here in ERL. Sets the fastest lap over O'Sheen, and yeah, Fishy is really looking strong here today. As now Chaz, I think he's improving, but I can't see because of chat. I don't know if he is, but he's carried on anyway, and he goes a 1:28.3. He improves by a second, but still stays P6. So very interesting. He might want to come into the pits so soon to change those tyres and get a fresh set on. You don't want to be doing too much. As Aiden now starts the lap, I think that Scotty is starting his lap now. That's the first we've seen of him. And Mathers, so the two Alfa Romeos coming out at the same time, but both on different tyres. But yeah, Aiden is looking to be the next one to set a flying lap. Let's see if he can do it this time without getting an invalidation. As he goes through Sector 1, it says it's purple, but I think that Fishy's was a bit quicker. I'm not entirely sure though. I know that that's a glitch sometimes on the F1 game. As now he goes onto the national pit straight. And then into Copse Corner, which used to be the first corner in F1. Nicely through there. Not losing too much speed. There's a tyre at the side. But I'm sure that will disappear soon, hopefully. As he goes through Maggots and Beckett's now. Nicely done through there from what I could see. And he now goes into this final sector. It's not a purple sector 2 though. It's looking like a very decent lap from Aiden so far. As he goes through Luffield now. It looks to be a spin at Copse again. Now through the final corner comes Aiden. We're going to see him from the curb camera. And he goes P3. A 1:27.4. Only less than a tenth behind O'Sheen. And yeah, 4 tenths ahead of Raleigh in P4. So a nice lap there from Aiden. It's not quite provisional pole, which is where he would want to be. I know Aiden, so I know he wants to be right up there. As does everyone else in this session, of course. But Scotty has backed out from his lap. And he comes into the pits. And so does Mathers. Both of them backed out on their lap. We have got Josh Tomer in the session. So I think he's going to be racing soon. I think he's going to get in a car soon. As Sam is 3 tenths up on his lap. I think he's going to be the first one to cross the line. And yeah, Josh Tomo is in the Mercedes. Which I'm very happy about, of course. Was the car that I won the championship in this season. Which is why I'm here doing comms today. Since I haven't got anything to fight for anymore. Of course, Mercedes are Constructors' Champions too. Sam takes a little bit of curb there, actually. A lot of curb, I must say. And doesn't invalidate on his lap. He's 2.5 tenths up through the second sector. This could potentially put him up into P6 ahead of his good friend JDM. But we will see. As he goes through Club Corner now. Round the final corner he goes, and he stays P8. He was a 10th up. Oh, wait. Oh, I know the mistake I've made. Sorry, Sam. So we've got a spinner at Cops. Right. So, next one will be Rally. He goes very wide at Cops, but doesn't invalidate. So if he's gained time from that, I will not count that as a legitimate lap. But he's backed off anyway. So, good from Rally to do that. FNCO Tom's on an invalid lap. Sam's still going for it again, so he'll be the next one to cross the line and set a new lap time. But yeah, ever improving is Sam. I've seen a massive improvement in Sam since I first met him. So I have got to invite someone to this session. If I can find him. I'm so sorry, guys. There we go. Found it. As we just come back to Sam round in the final corner, and he's not improved on his lap time. He's just down on it. Josh Tomo is going to set a first lap. Just about. No, he comes into the pits actually. So maybe looking to change onto the mediums, since I do know that he's got the pace. Oh wait, no. He's not going to set a lap. But yeah. Mathers has just started his lap. Scotty is about to start his as well. Chaz is on an out lap. Oshin's not coming out of the pits, and neither is Fishy yet. I say yet because there's 3 minutes left, so they've got plenty of time. Aiden's coming out for another lap. I think that's Rally on a lap, but he's invalidated, and he comes into the pits. It's going to be close whether he gets another lap in, actually, in this session. But Sam, once again, he is going to be the next one to set a lap time. He's 2/10 up through the second sector as he goes into the third sector and into Club Corner once again on those very old soft tyres in qualifying. We're going to go to the curb cam once again. Round the final corner he goes across the line, and it's a 128.8. Sam is finally into the 128s at Silverstone. Billy has retired without confirming his setup, so good luck to him in the race. You kind of want to set up around Silverstone. But yeah, Oshin and Fishy are all out on outlaps, so everyone but Rally is out on track. It's going to get a bit hectic towards the end of the lap. But here comes Mathers anyway. Round the final corner he goes on the medium tyres, and he goes P9, a 10th behind Sam. But it's still slowest of all the drivers that have set a lap. Next will be Scotty, his teammate, but he has invalidated and he's on the mediums too. So we'll see if he goes for it again. But Chaz will be the next one to cross the line. He's improving by a slight amount as he goes into Club Corner. Oh, and nearly loses the back end actually as we look to the curb cam, and he's down by 0.011, which is very close, of course. Aiden's going to be the next one now. He's improving by about half a tenth. Let's see if he can go and elevate his position. He does, just about, goes into P2, ahead of Oshin. It's a 127.305, but he's going to go for it again. I know Aiden, and he loves to go for second attempts, and to try and get closer to that pole. Of course, he's not very safe with that P2 at the moment, since all of the drivers are out on track, finding time, I would say. But the next one to cross the line will be JDM in the McLaren, second in the championship, I believe. He's 6/10 up on his first lap, So what lap could this be from JDM? And what position could it put him in? And he's invalidated at Luffield. He goes way too wide on the exit there, and he's going to cool down and go for it again. He's not got enough time to cool down though, but should be enough. He's got plenty of ERS, but he goes for it again. He crosses the line and starts a new fresh lap. Rally is starting his flying lap as well. He's just about got out in time. Oshin's going to be the next... No, he's not. FNCO Tom will be. He's 5/10 up on his original lap. So let's see where this could put him. As he goes across the line now, he goes P4 ahead of Rally by 3/10, and he's 2/10 behind Oshin in P3. I'm sure that FNCO Tom would want to go for it again, as it looked like he lost the back end there, but he didn't. Aiden didn't improve on his lap. Here comes Oshin though, and he goes fastest at 1:26.7, and he's ahead of Fishy by about 2/10 on provisional pole. But of course Fishy, oh, and Fishy's in the wall, and he didn't get to set another lap. He crosses the line, but he doesn't improve because he's in the wall. And that looks like Oshin on pole position, unless anyone else can say otherwise. JDM's 8/10 up. Could this put him on provisional pole for the time being? Rally's also DNF, so he doesn't get another chance at a lap. But JDM does. As he goes through Village and into Club Corner. Let's see where this could put him. He goes across the line now. And he goes P3. Just behind his teammate, just ahead of Aiden in the Ferrari, who's invalidated on his lap and won't get another chance at another lap. But Chaz will. Chaz is coming into Club Corner by being 4/10 up. And now he goes round the final corner. Across the line he goes. And he stays P7. A 10th behind Rally. So he just about misses out on P6. But Oshin's going for it again. No, he's not. He's 5.6 seconds down. So that is your qualifying session for ERL at Silverstone. So we don't know what the start weather's going to be. We don't know the whole of the race weather. But yeah, what a sight to see at the final corner. Fishy, who was on provisional pole for basically the whole of this session, and then it got took away from him, maybe pressured him a bit too much into a mistake and crashed out. And I'm getting messages that he was 3/10 up, so he would have actually got pole position, as he was only about a 10th and a half behind Oshin. Anyway, so if he'd improved by 3/10, then he would have definitely been on pole position. But Oshin is your man. I'm going to check chat while we've got a little break going on. Stowe. Okay, yes, Stowe. Wait, no, Stowe is the first corner. Is it? No, that's Abbey. Oh, there's so many corner names. Oh, I just get confused. Thank you for correcting me though, Josh. Doesn't make me look like a fool then. Thank you. Hi, Luke Whitaker. Thank you for joining the stream today. We're in ERL for Silverstone, and it's round 9 of the championship. Championship has already been won by me, which is why I'm doing comms, and the constructors is already won. So it's basically a fight for second in the constructors and the actual championship, as there's like 3 rounds to go, I believe. But it looks to be a dry start. Very dry, actually. The blue sky, no clouds. But we should have a formation lap, which we do. So then, we'll get everything enabled. Tyres, lap time, and we start the formation lap with O'Sheen in pole position. An amazing qualifying, came out of the blue to do that quali lap. Fishy, of course, we've talked about him, he was 3/10 up on his lap, and he spun it at the final corner and crashed out of qualifying, meaning that he wasn't able to improve on his lap. We've got JDM in third, a very good qualifying from him. He was in P6 for most of it, but yeah, he's managed to elevate himself up into P3, which is a good. He's second place in the championship, so this is good for McLaren to be up in second and third for their constructors, as well as they're second in the championship. Aiden's in fourth then in the Ferrari. Just missed out on a top 3 start, but I'm sure he won't mind being P4. I know that he does mind about being behind JDM. Those two. Oh, and they both crash, and so does Tom. Aiden's in the wall, and that's also... Whoa, Jesus. Yeah, madness on the formation lap. Tom hasn't got disqualified. JDM and Aiden have. Neither has Sam, actually, but Tom in 5th in the other Ferrari. We haven't seen a lot of him this season, but... Oh, and that was nearly a crash between Rally and Tom. I'm sure that... Yeah, and they both get disqualified. So Rally in P6 usually does qualify higher than that, but he is starting on the mediums, and he didn't improve on his lap time on the softs. So... yeah, it's to be expected. He's the first of the medium runners. Then it's Chaz in P7. I haven't commentated on him before, so I don't know what his pace is like, but he's up in P7 and looking to get a great start to elevate himself. Then it's Sam in P8. We've got the predicted pit stop strategy, which is most likely going to be a one-stop anyway, so either soft to mediums or soft to hards, and then medium to softs or medium to hards. But yeah, Sam in P8, Mathers P9 and Scotty at P10. The Alfa Romeos were quite quiet in that quali session. Lipo Domi crashed out at the very start of qualifying. He starts P11. He gets a free choice of tyres, and interestingly chose the soft tyre to start on. Then it's Josh Tomo for his first race in ERL in the Mercedes, and then Billy, also known as EKG or NSR, starting in P13 at the back, and both Mercedes have both chose for the mediums, which is why it's interesting that Lipodom hasn't gone for those. But yeah, we're going to go to 5 red lights then, to the ERL British Grand Prix. For round 9, it's lights out and away we go to turn 1, and there's already nearly a crash as there's a staller off the line. That's Chaz, but O'Sheen keeps the lead into turn 1. There's a Ferrari going wide there. I think that's FNCO Tom, and Sam has made himself up into P5, and he's battling for P4, going round the outside of Aiden. But he's not sent it back up the inside. Scotty has made his way up into P6 on those medium tyres, starting from P10. So what a start from Sam and from Scotty. Josh Tomo also up in P7 from nearly the back of the grid, and Billy into P8 we go. But Rally and Chaz are going side by side now into Woodcut, I think, but still going side by side. Rally's got the inside line, so he gets the track position, and now on the run to Cops we go. I don't think that anyone's close to making a move. It would be a death wish if they did. But FNCO Tom dropped down to P11. Not sure what happened with his start, and Mathers down into P12. Lipo Dom as well with damage, as well as Mathers, and FNCO Tom have damage. So quite a few drivers with damage there, but JDM's getting very close to his teammate Fishy. Could he go for the move, or will he stay behind for that constructor's position? Josh Tomo goes for the move on Scotty and gets it done before the brake zone, but Scotty sends it back down the inside nearly. But Scotty has spun on the curb. He's managed to keep it though. That's going to make him lose a position to Billy, who sends it down the inside of Village, and then into Club we go, still side by side. A bit of argy-bargy as Rally gets involved there, and he's made a double move, goes through Rally, and up into P7 he goes. Josh Tomo now gets past Sam, making his way up the field, and up into P5 he goes. But what a hectic lap 1. We've got 3 drivers in the pits, Tom, Mathers and Lipodom, but Mathers has left. without retiring from the session, so that's going to be an AI in the way, as we've got a spin. That is for Chaz, a yellow flag, but he's managed to keep going and not lose too much time. But it's still Oshin, your man, who is leading the British Grand Prix here at here in ERL in Silverstone. But the gaps have all calmed down now a little bit, as Rally actually gets past Sam before Cops and before the National Pit Straight, as they go through Cops. Rally on the mediums compared to Sam on the softs, as Sam goes very wide there. But I also noticed Rally had a penalty on lap 1 and like through the first 3 corners, so I'm not sure what's happened there. Whoa, that's a big crash, and I'm surprised that Scotty isn't out, as he went straight on into that wall there. He's lost his front wing completely. It's no safety car, no virtual safety car. Sam has also spun. Sam has spun onto the hanger straight, but he's kept going and no damage for Sam, as he's ran out of ERS, which is probably why he's spun, because he's been using his ERS through corners. It's pretty dangerous if you do that. You are likely to lose the back end if you do that. But Scotty then, no surprise, into the pits he comes. Speeds into the pit lane. But yeah, the 2 Alfa Romeos getting caught up quite early on, which is not good for their races. But no battle for the lead at the moment. DRS is enabled, so that could probably spice things up a little bit for the lead and further down positions. But it's looking, the closest that it is for the top 2 positions. Fishy loses a bit of time to JDM as well, brings him into DRS contention. As he goes through Cops, he literally drifting his car through there. But we have a yellow flag that is for FNCO Tom at turn 2, and he's gone off into the wall. I don't think he's got damage though, which is lucky for him. But he drops down back into P11. He's got hot tyres, so he's got to be careful, which he hasn't been, and he's spun. And he's just got AI drivers ahead of him, Scotty and Mathers and Lipodom. But very close to one another is those 2 AI, but we're not going to concentrate on the AI battles. We will go to the top 3 battle between Oshin, Fishy and JDM, all keeping one another in the DRS. Of course, Oshin has got less of an advantage, as he hasn't got any DRS off anyone. Aiden's just about outside of a second of these guys, so if he pushes a little bit more, he could maybe start getting the DRS. But Fishy was out of a second there, but he's still got the DRS, as he was within a second before the detection zone. But he's just running out of straight, because otherwise he would be able to get the move done if it was down the hanger straight and he was that close, or at least look for it. But now JDM's just about dropped out of a second of these 2, so he's relying on his teammate now to get the move done. He's 5.5 tenths behind Oshin, the man who is leading, but JDM's back into the DRS of his teammate. Fishy goes onto the grass a little bit and he nearly loses the back end. That was very close there to a Sergio Perez incident, but he's managed to keep it within 3 tenths of Oshin down that straight, even though he made that massive mistake at the start of it. But Aiden seems to be dropping off a little bit here. Josh Tomo's catching him behind, so the soft tyres may be looking a bit weaker now as they start to get a lot warmer and a lot more worn. As Aiden goes wide, Fishy sets the fastest lap despite that mistake, but now Josh Tomo takes it off him and goes a 129.9. So Josh Tomo is very close to Aiden. We might see a move down the straight, but we're going to go to the top 2 again, as Fishy is quite close now to Oshin. Josh Tomo's made the move before the DRS straight, so he caught us completely off guard there, and we haven't been able to see the move. But here goes Fishy. Is he going to send it down the inside? No, he's not. He's going to play the patient game and play it safe and wait until he's got more of a straight to go down the inside. But yeah, we like it when they play it a bit safe, because then we don't have crashes all the time. But now to Cops we go. Fishy's gaining on Oshin, but he's not going to go down the inside. It'd be very risky of him, of course, to do that. But JDM, he's just outside of a second. Just coming in a second now. Of Fishy. I don't know if he's got the DRS. It'll be very close to see if he has. To keep within. No, he hasn't. So that's also going to lose him time to Josh Tomo. But here we go. For the race lead. Here goes Fishy. Down the inside he goes. Of Oshin. And he gets the move done. Before the braking zone. And he's up into P1 of the Silverstone ERL Grand Prix. Oshin doesn't send one back down the inside to Fishy. And he's kept the lead now. Through the final corner he goes. And yeah, sets the fastest lap of the race while making that move. Aiden comes into the pits. So those softs obviously not working for him, as he lost a lot of time as well to Josh Tomo. Of course, Josh Tomo got that move done before the braking zone. But maybe also looking for an undercut is Aiden. But he goes on to the medium tyres to go to the end of the race this early. So we'll look to the top two again. Oshie not gaining enough down that straight to go for the move on Fishy. Of course, DRS helps them get close to one another. So later in the lap, we could maybe see a move. But now through Cops, Oshin isn't as close as what Fishy was to him the previous lap. But he has gained time through that corner and on the exit. He's within the DRS, which is what matters really. But now onto the straight. It's about 6/10 between Oshin and Fishy. Let's see how much Oshin's gaining on Fishy. It's not going to be enough before the braking zone, and Fishy keeps P1 for another lap. JDM's also dropped about 5/10 behind of the DRS of Oshin. And of course, Fishy, he did look to have the overall pace this week, this whole weekend of racing. I say weekend, but in-game weekend of racing. Because he's pulling away, of course, and he's dragging Oshin with him in the DRS. So that's why JDM's dropping a bit further back. Because Fishy is allowed now to unveil his pace at the front in clean air and not get stuck behind Oshin. But no one else has pitted to cover off Aiden for that early stop onto the medium tyres. As we go through top Cops again, it's about 6/10. Fishy goes very wide there. Of course, we are looking at penalties too. That could also change the race outcome today, is penalties or any collision that anyone's had and gets reported for. But with the DRS, his Oshin is about 6/10 behind again, so I don't think he's going to be gaining that much once more. And it's the same as last lap, and he stays behind Fishy for at least another lap, and that's FNCO Tom into the barrier once again at turn 1. Into the gravel, I must say, as he rejoins the track ahead of Mathers AI. JDM gets the penalty first out of the top 3 for multiple warnings of exceeding track limits. So maybe this is where now the tyres really start to go off, as Josh Tomo now gets a penalty on the mediums even. So very surprising, as you wouldn't expect the mediums to go off just yet, but maybe it's because of how much Josh is pushing. But Sam is the first one to come into the pits to cover off Aiden. I don't think he's going to do so, since Aiden's literally going around the final 2 corners now. But yeah, down the DRS straight. Oh, and that's Fishy getting held up by the Aston Martin AI of Lipodom. This is why we don't leave our AI in the session, and he's still racing them, is Lipodom's AI. But that's closed the gap now to about 1/10.5. FNCO Tom gets a penalty. Oshin goes wide, so that might be another warning for Oshin. Of course, I don't really want to check the warnings too much, as we'll miss out on the on-track action. But through Maggots and Beckett's, look how close Oshin is to Fishy because of that lap car. Fishy doesn't get DRS off Scotty, but he gets the slipstream to help him stay ahead of Oshin, and he keeps P1 somehow down that straight. And will we see any of these pit No, we don't. JDM will heap it. He goes wide again there, but he doesn't go into the pits, as we start to see a little bit of graining on the front end of JDM's car, on the front left. But Josh Tomo is right behind JDM as well. Will he go for that move that he went for on Aiden, as Josh Tomo sets the fastest lap of the race on those mediums, as he goes through turn 1, turn 2 now. Of course, he's got the DRS, but of course he sent it on Aiden here, I think it was. As Billy comes into the pits quite early on those medium tyres. So, not sure what that's about. Maybe a retirement. I shouldn't see why he's coming into the pits this early. But he's going on to the hard tyres. And the only other car to do that is Lipodom, his AI. So he's going to be very slow on those hard tyres, of course. As Josh Tomo's right behind JDM, towards Cops we go. Will we see a Cops move from Josh Tomo round the outside? He's not going to do it, as JDM parks it nicely on the inside and makes it awkward for him to get through. But he's no doubt going to get through on this next DRS straight, is Josh Tomo, as he stays within that DRS zone of JDM. He's got a lot more grip than JDM does. And here he goes. He uses ERS, DRS and the slipstream of JDM. And the advantage that JDM hasn't got any ERS. He's below 10%. JDM keeps down the inside of Josh Tomo and gives him a little battle there. But JDM now comes into the pits with Oshin. Sam is out of the race. And it's a safety car. So great pit timing for Oshin there. As Fishy is going to come out behind the safety car. Unless he can get through. And no, he doesn't. He gets through. But he's going to have to give that back. Otherwise he gets disqualified. So he's got to really slow down here and give that position to the safety car. Otherwise he's going to get disqualified. But perfect timing for Oshin and JDM to come into the... Okay, maybe not. As JDM gets held up in the pits by FNCO Tom's AI for some reason. Even though he wasn't in the pits. But Fishy hasn't ended up getting disqualified. Oh, and Josh Tomo has! Corner cutting and gaining 1 place, and Josh Tomo is disqualified from the session. Absolute madness here at Silverstone. JDM has managed to get past on JDM. I mean, Aiden has managed to get past on JDM as Billy comes into the pits once more to retire from the session. As JDM's trying to give the place back to Aiden, he goes off the track to do so. But Fishy and Rally, I'm sure, will come in at the end of this lap. Fishy, luckily, coming out ahead of that safety car there, which is helping him now to get that free pit stop and stay ahead of Oshin. And of course it helps Rally too, as he's quite far behind anyway, but he gets to gain a few positions as Chaz now gets a penalty for multiple warnings. Rally comes into the pits, he goes. That didn't make sense what I said, but yeah. Oh well, we'll go with it. As Fishy's pit stop, he finishes it, and let's see where he comes out on the track. As Oshin's actually getting held up by the Alfa Romeo. He's overtook him. I'm not sure if that's going to be classed as an illegal overtake. But Fishy is exiting the pit lane now, and he nearly loses the back end. And Oshin is into the lead of the race. Back in the lead of the race, I should say. As he started from pole position. And he's managed to get that undercut in the perfect timing of the safety car. To get himself back up into P1. What an amazing strategy from Oshin. I know it's pure luck of when that safety car come out. But JDM's in the pits. And he's left the session. So we maybe could be getting a restart because of that Josh Tomo disqualification. Which is maybe why we've seen Billy retire in the pits as well. But JDM's actually got damage. So, yeah, and everyone's leaving the session. Rally's also crashed on the straight. Oh, and that's another crash. So, once again here in ERL, we're getting a restart. This time at Silverstone. But I don't know what grid we're going off. It should be the safety car grid, I should imagine. Because that would only be fair. But then at least they can get rid of the AIs out of this session too. But yeah, everyone in the lobby so far, if you haven't retired, please do, as we are having a restart. Fishy overtook the safety car, but he's not got disqualified actually. But yeah, leave the session or retire, whichever one. And there goes Fishy. Whoa, he's done a 360 and another half one. But yeah, it's going to be a bit paused at the moment now, since we are waiting for the new lobby, and of course the grid needs to be sorted out. But yeah, I'll read chat while we're here and waiting. So yeah, I am commentating because I won the championship last week, Kiko. That is why. Hi Pranjal, welcome to the stream. We are doing commentating today on ERL. Yeah, so it is a restart. How to maintain the racing line consistently on controller. So there's a little trick that I use, and it's helped me with my driving style actually. So on controller, you can obviously, with the steering, what I do, it doesn't put me off when I do this. It does for a few other people, of course it's my driving style and stuff, but I push the steering forward like throughout the whole lap basically. So then I get smoother steering, and it's not like, you know, box steering I'd describe it as it's quite like sharp and stuff, sharp steering. But yeah, I push the steering forward and turn the corner like as the corner goes, of course. That's how I've managed to get smoother on the game. It's been my driving style since about 2019. I'm not sure if it's going to work on the new game. It most likely will. But yeah, that is how I've managed to get smoother at the game. So yeah, thank you for asking the question. And hi Harvey, welcome to the stream. We're doing comms today. I don't think we're going to do a career mode stream. But yeah, Fishy, that was it's very good racing so far. Keep it up in the new lobby as we get an invite to the new lobby. Oh, you're playing 2018. Yeah, it should still be the same. You can still push the steering forward and stuff. You should be able to do that, and it makes it a lot smoother. So yeah, just give it a go and, you know, see how it is. And Oshin, I don't completely know. I have no control over what's happening with the lobby. I'm just a commentator today, as it's not letting us join the session. So we might need to actually end this stream and start a new one while I close down the game. So check back on the channel in about a couple of minutes time and it should be done. The new stream should be up. So I'll just close the game and I'll see you in the next stream